Live streaming is booting up.
And it even gives you a notification.
No, we are now live streaming. All right. So video is now being recorded for the September board meeting.
And it even gives you a notification.
No, we are now live streaming. All right. So video is now being recorded for the September board meeting.
And it even gives you a notification.
Are we going to be getting feedback like that all night?
Nope, I just clicked it off to make sure that we didn't. So, because that was going to come through mine and it was going to make a loop. So that
We
is
got about 1 more minute.
So you shouldn't hear the loop at all.
Click on the mute button on the YouTube.
I did. Perfect.
Zach, going still?
Yes. Yep.
2 more seconds.
It's broadcasting. But you don't
All right. Call to order the regular board meeting for September. Roll call, Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Mrs. Sweeney,
Here.
Mr. Sweeney,
Here.
Dr. Willingham.
Here.
Moss, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Your right hand over the heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag.
And to the republic for which it stands,
Stand. One
nation,
nation.
under God, indivisible, for all.
Liberty and justice.
Need a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I second.
I got Chris, Sonia. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain. Okay. Next is public comment section. Sonia, do we have anyone for public
No,
comment?
we do not. No, we do not.
Okay. And no one speaking up, so we'll close public comment at this time. Public hearings. First one is the Williams Settlement Legislation Education Code, section 60119, termination of textbook sufficiency. Karen?
Yes, this is our annual sufficiency notification. The public was notified that they had the opportunity to come and share with the board on this. This is our resolution, or our resolution will be coming up regarding the sufficiency of textbooks.
Any public comment on this? Sonia, Davis?
No.
No, none.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing for the Williams Settlement Legislation. Next item is public hearing for learning community and attendance plan. And Karen?
Yes, this plan replaces our LCAP. It is kind of a modified version of the traditional LCAP, and it speaks to the actions and services that the district is providing during distance learning. And this is also the public's opportunity to share their feedback with the board. It's been on preview since September 8th for the public to view.
Sonia, did we have anybody make public comment on it?
None. No.
Okay. Public comment from here. Okay, we'll close public hearing on that one. Next one is public hearing school fee justification study. And Jeremy. Try unmuting, Jeremy.
I was unmuted, but that's weird. This is the school fee justification study that comes to you every other year. You will see the corresponding resolution and study in the following item.
Right? Any public comment on this one, Sonia?
None.
Okay. With that, we'll, no other public comment? Going once? Okay, we'll close that. Okay, action item. This action item is, Board Resolution 2020-2021-02 textbook sufficiency. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that vote. I second.
Okay, Chris made it. Dr. William seconded it. Aaron?
Yes, I'm pleased to report that we do have sufficient materials for all students. Under the Williams Act, students are required to have a book that they can use at school and then take home. And as you know, under this model, all of our students have their books at home. But we do have enough materials for all of our students.
Jeremy be making this report since he reports out on the Williams Act?
This is a different section of the Williams Act.
Any questions from any of the board?
Nope.
Okay. All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Same? Okay. Next item is Resolution 2020-2021-03, the adoption of school fee justification studies. Jeremy?
Did we do?
Would you like a motion, Ron?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make
No.
that motion.
Okay.
I'll make
Second.
that motion.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Anybody? Chris? Okay. Now Jeremy.
All right. This is the aforementioned school fee justification studies for level 1, level 2 fees on residential and commercial. The state in January increased those rates from $3.79 to $4.08 for residential and from 61 cents to 67 cents for all categories of commercial and industrial. We have an agreement with Chafee, Joint Union High School District, that we can charge 69% of that fee as long as our studies justify it. The attached study does justify the need for the district, and so this resolution enacts the district to be able to get these fees at $2.82 per square foot for residential and 45 cents per square foot at commercial industrial.
Questions from the board?
Jeremy, what were we at prior to the increase?
It was just a few cents difference before. I don't remember exactly. It was a study that was done 2 years ago, but it was at 69% of the previous allowable. So 69% of 379 and 69% of 61 cents. It was just a few cents on the commercial, and it's about 25 cents more on the residential side. So it's a good increase for us to be able to collect those fees.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Next is Resolution 2020-2021-04, the adoption of the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration for Parkview Elementary School. Okay,
Make
whoever
that
thought that
motion.
resolution title should be take a lesson of shortness. Do I have a
I'll let
motion?
the state know.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I second.
okay.
Yes, back in 2007, the board approved the mitigated negative declaration for elementary school number 4, which is now we call Parkview. This is essentially the CEQA. It's required by the Clean Air Act, essentially, of California, and it looks at the environmental impact of building a school. And so, because that was done so long ago, and now that we're getting ready to build the school, we have a little bit different layout for the school. We had to do an update to that CEQA, to the mitigated negative declaration, to see if there were any negative impacts from us building the school in relation to updated code. We did the study. The study found no additional negative impact of the school. So this is just the addendum that says we're good to go and we can move forward with our school.
Questions?
None.
Mike?
So Jeremy, just for clarification, a negative declaration is a good thing. That
Yeah,
means
well,
there's no
that's
negative
what they call
impact
it.
in
They
the
call
year.
it the negative declaration, and you have to declare if there's any negative impacts to the thing, so into the building and of the site. And no, we have the absence of negative declaration, so we have nothing to negatively declare.
Good.
That's good.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, I have a motion, second, all in favor, say aye.
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 No negative votes, no abstentions, okay. Next item is, motion for certificated substitute rate for virtual learning. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that. I'll second.
Jeremy?
Yes. So as a result of COVID, we've had to adjust the way we do our daily instruction. As we all know, we are currently in a virtual learning model. Because of that, our teachers are providing instruction from approximately 7:45 in the morning till about 11:45 in the afternoon. Because of this model, we no longer have a need to have a full day substitute because there's really nothing for them to do in the afternoon hours, the last 3 hours of the day. But it is longer than our typical half day substitute by about 45 minutes to an hour. And so what I'm putting forward here for your consideration is an adjusted substitute rate that's specifically for virtual learning. It's slightly more than a typical half-day rate. It helps to entice substitutes to come to our district and sub for us still on a half-day basis, but at a slightly more larger rate than what they had before. As long as we are in the virtual learning model, we will not experience full-day subs unless it's for a long-term job. And so it's actually even though we're increasing the half-day rate, it's actually a cost savings to the district because of the way we're structuring it.
Questions? Mike?
I have one. Jeremy, is this in line with surrounding districts?
Other districts do their instruction all throughout the day, spaced out throughout the day, or they're in an A/B model where their teachers are teaching all day long. Because of the structure of our model, where the teachers are only doing office hours in the afternoon, and that we have some flexibility there, we're really the only district who's looking at doing this.
Will we have a difficult time finding subs under this scenario?
Actually, this will give us a better chance because right now we're currently only using half-day subs and we're only paying them at our half-day rate. So this will actually increase their rate and make it more enticing for them to be in the district.
Thank you.
That's the question I had. So anyone else?
That's my
Questions?
same question.
Yes, Chris?
I was just saying that was my same question.
All right, no other questions. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? All right. Next item is the GAN limit resolution. A motion to approve the,
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second.
right. Stephen,
This is the annual GAN limit, and so just as a quick refresh, the GAN limit is the annual limit on appropriations. So to make sure that we didn't spend essentially more than we were allowed, the GAN limit over the years has grown quicker than our growth in funding, so we're well below the appropriation level. But we just still do have to take it every year to the board for approval prior to our unaudited actuals.
questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained. Okay, and then we have the unaudited actual report 2019-20. Have a motion.
Make that motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
Second?
I think it was Chris. All right. Stephen? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Stephen. Stephen?
Be right there, and here we go. Okay, this is just a quick presentation on where we ended. The unaudited actuals are how we ended the fiscal year 1920. This is a quick just snapshot of our revenues. You'll see that our other state revenues had a little bit increase in our other local revenue. Part of that was due to interest, as well as the West and SELPA having essentially overbilled us for services and returning some dollars. And then we also had the STRS on behalf is an annual estimate. And so there's just a difference, but that expenditure also nets out. So that's essentially a paper entry. So it looks like higher revenue, but it's really just a paper entry of higher revenue. So overall, our revenues were up just a small amount. And again, that was attributed to the little higher interest earnings and the return of some SELPA fee dollars to the district. These are our expenditures. You'll see adopted budget, estimated actuals, and is final where we are. We finished the year pretty close to where we estimated we would finish. And our budget is a little bit different than where we finished and where we budgeted. You'll see a slight increase in salaries. We had to, while we saw some savings in sub costs, we did have to add a couple extra FTEs this year throughout the year to meet staffing ratios. And so those were some of the reasons we saw an increase in the salaries. But you did see some of the classified salaries savings, and that's in part due to the shutdown from March 13th onward. The employee benefits, again, in part because of the posting of STRS on behalf and the increased benefit for some of the additional FTE teaching FTEs. Books and supplies were down quite a bit, and that's because essentially after February, we really didn't have any ordering outside of some cleaning supplies. Same with service costs. We didn't have as many costs because we didn't have as many contracted, we didn't have any people, we didn't have students, and so some of our service costs went down. Capital outlay varies from year to year. We saw some finishing up of some projects that we originally thought were finishing, and then because of some timing delays, they got posted in July as opposed to June, which now would have been over a year ago. So July of 19. We also had one of our school sites update some sound equipment in the auditorium through their donation account, but that still shows on our budget. And then the other outgoing increased because of, it's really weird, it increased because of SELPA costs from where we originally were, but the SELPA costs that they projected were higher than it was actually, which is why we saw that revenue come back. So we did still see a significant increase in SELPA costs and special ed costs, but they overestimated, so we did see a little bit come back. Any questions on the expenditures? This last slide just kind of shows us where we are at adopted budget. We expected to drop by about 2.6, and if you'll bear with me, I'm going to go back one slide. You'll see that our expenditures were different by about 1.7 million in how we budgeted. And so because of a lot of the savings attributed to the shutdown and a couple of those revenues coming in, we saw a slight bit increase in our P2, which increased our LCFF revenue. Instead of 2.6, we were ending the year at 4.2. And this is just showing us how we have it broken down. Revolving account, $2,500, prepaids, $22,000, restricted, which is things like our federal dollars or our routine repair and maintenance, a little over $730,000. We have to meet a 3% reserve, which is $830,000, and so we still continue to meet that 3% reserve. And then the 1.9 is a reserve for additional future spending. We do know, even with the increased revenue, that in those 2 out years, we're going to deplete that reserve pretty quickly. With the third out year in our budget, we're still seeing that we'll need to potentially have some adjustments, but it's so far out right now, we're not sure how it's going to look with the revenue and things like that. But we do know that we'll be deficit spending the next 2 years, or the next 3 fiscal years, this year and the 2 subsequent years. And so we just marked that aside for future spending to meet our current obligations and to also maintain a 3% reserve. Questions?
Questions? Mike, Chris, Maureen, James?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
More questions? All right. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Please accept my apology for stepping away for a few minutes. Had a little crisis in the other room. So, anyway, so sorry about that. I read it, so I knew what was going on. Enrollment report, information items, enrollment report. And when you get into this, I would like to know how accurate and how are they capturing this? So, Dr. Moss?
I'll give the numbers first, then we'll go through specifics. So Creekview, we are at 620, Mountain View at 555, Branch View at 819, Grace Oakley at 623, and so total for Mountain View School District for enrollment is 2617, which as I've been mentioning is a significant increase over last year. We are seeing a lot of the growth that we were anticipating from Ontario Ranch. We're seeing that at Ranch View and also at Ranch View and also at Grace Oakley. But we're seeing growth as we did last month. We're seeing growth on all of our campuses. That isn't necessarily attributed to Ontario Ranch, but we are seeing growth, which is welcome. Creekview, as an example, for several years has had a steady decline. Starting from the first day of the school year, as the year progressed, they continued to go down. Each year they were lower. I'm very happy to see them up over 600. Mountain View, which for quite a while was about 470, 480 is up at 555. So those are strong numbers. Enrollment, as students enroll in districts, they then go through a similar process to what they would do as if they were going to be in a non-virtual reality. They enroll at their home campus. Enrollment is taken care of through our school office staff. Information is put into the system, and then the student is enrolled. If a student were to move from another district or from another state into our district, which they have done, we then we conduct enrollment just as we would in a non-virtual environment. They make an appointment to come in. They go ahead and share documentation with us. Once everything is approved for enrollment, then they are good to go. They're issued their Chromebook, all their materials, what they need for their class, and they begin instruction. And again, the process is not a whole lot different than it would be, other than they have to make an appointment to come in, just to make sure that we have appropriate social distancing in our offices, and to go ahead and have that. Again, it's that one-on-one attention. We can't have a bunch of people waiting in the office.
Questions? All right, yes. Staff, student attendance?
The staff student attendance, we are actually slightly higher than we have been in the past 3 years for this particular time. We've had a significant decrease in absence rates amongst our staff. I believe there's more flexibility within the virtual scheduling, that it makes it so people aren't getting to have the time off that they might otherwise have. Though with working on that sub rate, that's going to help us if we do have people who need to go out, especially with cold and flu season coming up. But we are higher than last year at this time, and we are higher actually than we have been the past 3 years for September, which is good news. So that's, again, our biggest factors for concern at this point is to make sure that we have the subs available as needed. And the set we have been working, it's been working out so far very well with half-day subs, but that movement to being able to have a differential rate for virtual subs be beneficial for our employees in the months to come.
So I have a question. Why is classified part-time so large on days absent? I mean, we have Grace Oakley, 92 days. Branchview, 63 days. I mean, how many days we've been back? How's that being calculated, I guess? Because then I go over to the far side, As it says, the percentage is 96%. I don't understand.
I don't either. Something, the 92 doesn't make sense there because, especially with the part-time absences, and that is, but I'm looking at ranch views as well at 63, which is coming in at 96%.
Jeremy, I think, has something.
Yeah, we currently have a number of classified employees who have taken the COVID leave for having children that have been displaced because of school closures. They're allowed to take a certain amount of leave, and we have about a dozen part-time classified staff who are currently on that leave. And I'm guessing that's probably why it's under the long-term absences for August to for the period of August. So we have they can take up to 12 weeks of leave related to their own child being displaced from school.
So the figure includes those people, those individuals that are doing that. But it sort of looks like, I mean, if it just glanced at it, it looks like, wow, we're really missing a lot. People are missing a lot of time. But it's kind of excuse time, but it doesn't really necessarily reflect that.
Yeah, the report I think just doesn't take into it. It includes all employees who are out, those who may be sick, as well as those who are on leave. And I would say that the majority of our people who are absent are currently on leave for those positions.
What we can do, because the computer program normally wouldn't be tracking that many people on an extended leave situation. I mean, that would be highly unusual in any district. What we can do is actually pull some of that data, extrapolate it, and be able to do a differential and be able to provide that to the board, so you can see the difference between the long term versus the actual absence rate. The computer I don't believe is going to do that on its own, but we do have the ability to do that.
Any other questions? Thank you both. Thank you both. Financial statement, Stephen.
This is our annual financials. There hasn't been many changes since we last met. We did mention, and I'll just mention it again because it's kind of important to note, we do see that adjustment in revision in our revenues and in our expenditures. That again relates to changes in the adopted budget from where we were, changes from May revised to the actual adopted budget. The County Office of Education recommended to make those revenue changes for our budget to be more accurate by August 13th, which we did. And so that's those big changes. Other than that, everything's kind of moving along as normal.
All right, okay, maybe it's been a while since I really looked at this. How do I know what was spent in the last month as to plan? Is that showing me here? It looks like year.
Yes. So if you look at the current activity, that's going to be a period in that current month. So August to 8/31, the current activity, you'll see that in the current activity. The year-to-date activity represents those are changes.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Yes, that is correct. Current year activity.
Okay, thank you. It's been a while since I looked at. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Next item is learning continuity and attendance plan. First reading. Karen.
This is the plan that we just had the public hearing for, and this is just a first reading. It will be brought back to the board on Thursday's special board meeting as an action item.
Anybody have any questions on the reading?
No.
I do.
Yeah, Mike.
Karen, could you go over quickly what learning continuity and attendance plan is?
Sure. This is kind of a modified LCAP to make it simple. It's our plan for how we're handling distance learning and how we're addressing learning loss that students may have experienced from the March school closures, and then how we will move forward with that as well. So we give examples of what our district would look like in a full virtual model, how we would look in possibly a blended model, and then how we would look in a traditional model as well. And then we also talk about the expenditures that this situation has put us in, the extra Chromebooks we've had to purchase, and extra instructional materials, and all of those things are included in this plan.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you. Next is school facility project, secure entry at Creekview Elementary School. Jeremy,
You're muted.
don't mute again.
That's twice tonight. Sorry about that. This is a project that the board had been requesting. This is an improvement to our secured entry over at Creekview. What this does is it replaces the existing secured entry door with a taller door up to 7 feet, almost 7.5 feet actually, and then it also runs glass along the front counter connecting it to the wall at the same height. And so this will create a much more secured entry, plus it helps with protection from, and again, it acts like a face shield between our employees and community members who come in. Judith has done a great job of putting up a temporary, but we want to make sure we bring something in that's a little bit more permanent and addresses a ongoing security risk from that entry point. So this is
plastic curtains coming down.
It would be replaced by really nice glass. Yes. And this is an approximation, an estimate done by Ledesma Meyer. We've had WLC do architectural drawings, which would be required by DSA. And so this is brought to you as an info item for other questions and discussion. And then we would be looking to bring it back with the board's approval for, we would take it out to bid and then bring it back at a subsequent meeting, hopefully by October, with potential bid award.
Okay, so it's going to go out for bid. That's what I understood.
Yes, and this is information. As long as I get the thumbs up to go out to bid, then no formal action is needed to do that. But per your direction, I can take this out to bid over the course of the next month. Yes.
Yes, so you were going to take it out for bid?
Yes.
I thought we had okayed security updates on all the schools.
Yes, Creekview was the first iteration of that, and it was done almost 5 years ago, and since then we've improved, and we've been going from site to site, and we did Ranch View and then Mountain View last year, and then we actually over this summer improved Grace Yoakley's entry with some glass, and now we're having to circle back to Creekview because there's still some where we put in a nice counter and a glass door that it has a secured entry. Someone who of an aggressive nature could still come over the counter, and we want to make sure we shore that up with additional protection for our employees.
I kind of like to see a breakdown of what is what on this. It seems awful expensive to put in a new door and some glass.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of glass work, a lot of superstructure as far as framing, and I would be happy to give you a little bit more detail on the plans if that's your desire. And again, this is an estimate from the construction company. I can bring this back again next month as an info item with more information for you if need be.
Or as an action item, either one. I don't care.
Okay.
But I just think, I don't know, that seems a little expensive.
When we did Mountain View this past summer, I think it was over 35,000. We also put in a counter there. This is more about the same amount of glass work that we're going to do here, and also an additional glass door.
I understand, Jeremy, and we certainly need it, but let's be honest. You got a financial report that shows we're scratching, pennies.
Yeah.
And then I want to know why it costs $25,000 to make what door bigger and put in glass.
No, I completely understand. And one of the pieces where we're hoping this would work time-wise is we may be able to access the COVID dollars, as we call them, for making campuses more safe and secure. And so they would come from that lump of sum rather than the general fund.
And I don't want to hold up making the school safe. That's not what I want to do at all. We need to move ahead as quickly as possible. We owe that to everyone. I want to make sure we're doing it in a prudent manner. And, you know, if it goes out for bid, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it will definitely go out to bid. It has to go out to bid because it's over the $15,000 limit.
So what was the timeline? You wanted approval tonight? Or this
No,
just
it just a general information item, thumbs up to move forward with the bid. A formal action to move forward is not required. The formal action of approval of the bid is required.
have kind of a general nod of the head. We need to move forward.
Thumbs up, yes.
All right, thank you. Mountain View School District information. Let's start with Grace Oakley. Grace Oakley. Tell us the wonderful things happening at Grace Oakley.
What do you need to know? Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Gracie Oakley, we are busy. We're busy around campus. Custodial staff, our proctors, they've done a wonderful job in painting, renovating our hallways and our school site. Please come visit our school site if you haven't recently. And we're so happy and proud to show it. So it's been a great opportunity to freshen up. Teachers are working hard. We just sent home progress reports on Friday. So the first 6 weeks is underway. We're looking forward to another great 6 weeks.
And I know some high schools are doing pep squads virtually and dance squads virtually. Is ours doing something like that? Are they doing like Zoom rehearsals or anything?
Not yet. As a matter of fact, we had a staff meeting this afternoon, and we are planning on implementing our clubs. So we will have our first round of club meetings with CSA Club, our Bible Club, Alpha Club, and Girls Club. So our first meeting will take place next Friday afternoon. So I'm sure shortly we will have drill team up.
Thank you. Any other questions for Christy? All right.
Nope.
Let's go Creekview.
We have one of the most interesting things that has happened based on the social distancing is the way that the entire staff has come together to support each other. One of the teachers, Amanda Lockwood, today held a training for all of the teachers to become familiar with Synergy and then use that information to create their progress reports. And the support that they're showing each other is truly phenomenal. The other area that I've been working on personally is reaching out to the students that were having a hard time getting their attention or having them stay on all day through the distance learning. So I've been making phone calls, talking to students directly, letting them know how much we all care about them and encouraging them to come on. I even told one little girl that if she could keep it up, one of the incentives, because we had such a close connection last year, is that I would make it a point to maybe go by her house and wave at her from the outside. And she thought that was pretty cool. So basically we're all just brainstorming and coming up with ideas to support each other and to support our students. And it's bringing out the very best in humanity that I've seen so far.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for Judith?
Nope.
All right, let's go Ranch View.
Good evening, and I apologize, my camera is out. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, at Ranch View this month, a few things that we've done differently. We had Student of the Month, but instead of, we wanted to honor the students some way. And so each teacher, we gave them an envelope and they put the address of each student on it and we mailed them to them. And the really neat thing about it is teachers put little stickers on their envelopes. It was just a way of recognizing them. Also, we're working with our PBIS on virtual incentives for students, and we're making, one teacher made a really neat matrix, and some of the things are like if students, she will pick their name out of a hat, and they can either wear slippers to school or they can maybe skip one homework, one assignment or something like that. Sorry, Karen, but but some kind of activities. And we also are excited, and you'll know more information about it. So we just got it confirmed today. We're doing Picture Day, Tuesday, October 20th through Thursday, October 22nd from 12 to 2:30. And it will be very safe and set up with social distancing, and payments will be done online. More information will be coming for that. But if you guys want to come and get your picture taken. And also we have a new mascot. I've zoomed into every single class and basically introduced myself, and I found a little puppet friend, and his name's Weston the pony and the Wrangler, and they just love that. And I think I'm getting more kick out of the teachers cracking up when I do it than the students. So we're having a good time and just trying to engage the students in the virtual world. So I'll introduce you to my puppet next time.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Julie? Nope. And Mountain View. You're on mute.
There we go. Okay, at Mountain View, we have met with our PTO and we're working on moving forward with our fundraisers, and our membership drive is taking off really well. We'll be having our first fundraiser coming up pretty soon. I'll give you more information on that. We're working with the communities and working with them supporting us with the restaurants and getting percentages back on working with our community to support the restaurants, and then they're going to be providing us with percentages back on that. We're going to be having a used clothing fundraiser coming up with the PTO as well to support us at the site with various things that we need on the campus. I think overall our staff has done a tremendous job with working together to support each other. Our paraeducators are doing a phenomenal job with doing extra duties to support us at the school site. So everything overall is coming together pretty well.
Thank you. Any questions for Adrena? Nope. Great reporting by all of you. Good job. Board Superintendent, Staff Communications. James, let's hear from you first. Anything?
No communications.
All right. Maureen?
Well, Mike and I visited all of the schools. We stopped by at Mountain View and we were able to see the breakfast and lunch program, a big success over there. Susie Borneman was out there with her staff and there were cars lining up, going real smooth. It's really neat to see that offered for our kids. Went by Ranch View and saw the home of the Wranglers there, and they were in a staff meeting. I think Sophie Durbin was leading something on the Discovery program for children from 1st to 3rd grade, but it was nice to see a lot of the teachers back, and we're just there for a few minutes, but a little air of excitement in the air. Then went over to Creekview and got to visit with Judith Maxwell and witness that. It's a symmetry program where the teachers were there helping, giving each other support. And it was really nice to go over there also and get to see her garden as it's progressing. And then last we went over to GYS and visited with Christy Patterson and got to see all the construction going on, the paint, getting ready to do some renovations over there, and saw a bunch of the teachers doing Zoom at that time when we walked through. So it was really nice. I want to thank Kelly Reyes for the video, YouTube video, The Calling. We have, as everybody knows, we have 4 daughters, 2 son-in-laws that are teachers. And it was just really touching. And I've always heard this expression, a career is what you're paid for, but a calling is what you're made for. So thank you to all the teachers. And last year I bought all our teachers these mugs, ones in our family, but
it was that a teacher is a person who makes all other occupations possible. They touch the lives forever, and then they make the world a better place, and they put the stars within our reach. And that's what all of you do in the education field. It really is nice. I see our children's success going through the Mountain View schools. Also a special nod to Dr. Moss for his, I guess what would be called the virtual, I'm trying to think, the calming room. I got to look at a few of them, and the ocean is always my favorite place to be. So I felt like I was back at the aquarium of the Pacific. I loved it. So I'm going to be 68. I was very calm. So thank you for all of what all of you guys do. Just amazing.
Thank you. Chris?
Yeah, so I really wanted to get a taste of what teachers are experiencing. So starting today, I've gone to different sites and just walking around, just kind of hearing. And you know, this is such a difficult time. It doubles their work for not as effective as they are used to, and yet what I saw and what I heard is people are getting over that initial hump, the initial shock, and while there's still exhaustion and some anxiety, they are adjusting and they're moving forward. And I was thrilled to hear that from multiple people at multiple sites today, knowing that there's still a lot of challenges and there's still a lot to get through. But I am confident that with Doug and everybody else on this call that this year is going to continue to get better and better. Great job, everyone. Seriously, great job.
Thank you. Mike?
Well, I did everything Maureen did.
We go.
All the school sites, and I was very, very impressed, Judith, with the synergy activity going on at Creekview. As a baseball coach for many, many years, I did preach synergy to all of our players and stress upon them how important it is to work together. It's like the roots of the redwoods up north. That as we work together, we are really something. As individuals, we're but a drop in the sea. If we work together, we become the ocean. So really good work over there. I was very impressed with everything that I saw at every campus, and I saw numerous teachers at task doing different jobs in different ways. I saw some on Zoom calls. I saw some emailing. I saw some texting, and I saw everyone with a smile on their face. Nobody was beaten up in a way that we could see, but everyone seemed to be working together and working together and putting a smile on your face. We look forward to the next day being a positive day. We'll get through this, and we will get through this. All I have, Ron.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Dr. Moss.
It's certainly been a busy month. We have I've had the opportunity to go into each of our classrooms on our campuses, and it's just incredible what we are doing and how the teachers are doing it, how our paraprofessionals are working. When you go into a classroom and you see a teacher who's on virtual with her students or with his students, and then you have paraprofessionals that are taking them into breakout rooms and assisting students with unique needs, and you really have this incredible teamwork that is happening. And somebody said 6-8 months ago that that this is what we would need to be doing. Nobody would have ever believed it. And then to go ahead and say, okay, how can I be effective at doing something that I've never done before is challenging. I've mentioned to all of our teachers and also via my weekly messages that it's kind of like starting your career over again. So we have fully experienced teachers. We have teachers who within a few years could be potentially retiring, but are starting their careers over again. And that's daunting. That's exhausting. Even for our new teachers, for our mid-career teachers, everyone is exhausted because of the amount of work it is taking them to do what they're doing. And they're doing a marvelous job with it. So, and speaking from seat and also in my messages and encouraging all of our staff to make sure that they find those appropriate parameters, that they make sure that they take time for themselves, that they practice good self-care. And that's where our calming rooms are important. And just whatever it is that you need to go ahead and do. Well, you can't really go for a walk or anything right now because of the smoke, but whatever you need to do to be able to do that, it's important to take that time and to have those breaks. Our parents are in a similar situation. Our parents are in a whole brand new world. We have grandparents and aunts and uncles who are assisting with the virtual instruction at home. And that's blurring the lines for many of them and taking them also outside of their comfort zone. So I encourage everyone in the district, whether you are a teacher or paraprofessional, if you're in the front office, if you're working on the home front, and whatever your job might be on the home front, make sure that you take time for you. Everybody is doing the best job they possibly can. There are going to be hiccups. We have had hiccups. We're going to continue to have hiccups, but we are doing our absolute best. But self-care is so important during these days. As I continue to work with the County Department of Health, our numbers continue to be high. San Bernardino County is still one of the higher ones in the state, but we're beginning to see a trend downwards. The hope at this point is that as that trend goes down, we're not going to go ahead and catch. We want to go down for a while. Europe and other places in the world are experiencing second waves at this point. They had a couple of months between their first and their second wave. We continue to have concerns about cold and flu season coming up as well. So we are not out of the woods yet. We are, again, as we continue to practice social distancing and wearing of masks and doing what we need to do on our end, our county's numbers should continue to go down, which is what we're hoping for, and to be able to do that in a period of time before before cold and flu season gets started, and certainly before the winter holidays, because I know everybody wants to be able to have family and gatherings for the holidays, and I know that's been expressed to me by several parents. My parent calls over the past week have been concerns of pivoting too soon. They're concerned about us going back before the holidays, and/or concerns about what happens with cold and flu season. And I continue to tell our families that we are staying the course, that the county's numbers are still high, and we continue to take our student and our staff safety at the highest level possible, and we'll continue to bring that to the forefront.
Thank you, Doug. Jeremy?
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Karen?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Stephen?
Just wanted to touch on our food service program. We applied for an additional waiver, and we've been approved for the summer feed program, an extension of it, which means that any child in our district 0 to 18 is eligible for a free meal. It's still important that they are doing their food applications, just because when this finishes, we still need to have on file that they are free or reduced. But for right now, any child 0 to 18 is eligible to come by one of our school sites and pick up a free lunch. And that'll be until December 31st.
Great. I'm really impressed how he's been handling that and along with his team. It's really an outstanding program. And Jan, in her happy place.
Thank you. Nothing tonight to report.
Next item is consent agenda. Unless the trustee, superintendent, or the public has a question concerning a particular item, it has to be withdrawn from the consent agenda. Items that are considered routine in nature are approved at one time by the governing board. Is there any item anybody wishes to have withdrawn for consideration? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I'll second.
Green second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. All right, we have a adjournment of the regular session. We have a special meeting of the Board of Trustees at 10 a.m. on this Thursday via teleconference. Next regular meeting will be held at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 13th via teleconference or at Mountain View Elementary School to be determined. Do we have a closed session item, Dr. Moss?
We do have a short closed session.
Okay, so I'd ask Unless you have any way particular, do you want to stay with the closed session from your administration staff?
Jeremy will be the only one staying.
Okay, then everyone else have a wonderful day. Go out and run in the smoke. No, don't do that. And the school board members stay on board. Everybody else take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Wait.
you. Have a good evening, everyone.
You, Jan.
And